We're still in the Wickenburg area. Last week we checked out the quaint western town and even learned a little about one of Arizona's unsolved mysteries. This week I'll show you where we boondocked and some off-roading that showcases a jaw-dropping views of the Sonoran Desert. We didn't find what we were looking for, but did find a little surprise. We also checked out an authentically restored ghost town and drive down to Aguila to search out some recommendations by some friends. We're approaching the last of our 15-part series of Traveling Arizona. We're camping about 6 miles from the town of Wickenburg off of South Vulture Mine Road. The area is called Vulture Peak. There are 2 entrances to the area that we saw. We're on Arizona State Trust land, so we're using the permit we bought earlier on our trip. It allows us to camp 14 days during the year and gives us unlimited access for day use. Buying the permit is a must if you want to have more options in camping and do off-roading without restrictions. There's a link in the description to sign up. We paid $20 for the year, but how much you pay depends on what you actually need. The area is big rig friendly if you're willing to take it slow and manage some bumps. There's a lot of room here to find a spot where you're not on top of each other. Some of the comments in Campanium mentioned people living here long-term and trash, but we saw none of that. Having it close to a major road with a cell tower right across the road for good service was a plus. We weren't bothered by a lot of road noise either. Overall, we'd consider staying here again. We had originally planned to do some off-roading in a different area, but after buying our new camper, our truck bed was loaded up with some things that we had stripped from our old camper. So we weren't going to be able to load our side-by-side on the truck bed to go to a new location. So it became important that we stay where we could just start riding from camp, which is always our preference anyway. We mapped out a loop with a destination in mind. Although the trail started in Arizona Trust land, most of what we rode was on BLM land. Our trail map rated these trails from a technical rating of 2 all the way up to a 5. Sometimes it was hard to know if we were on the harder trail because some of the, quote, easy, unquote, trails seemed very steep, and there were some that we didn't think we'd manage. In fact, some of the trail reviews said the same thing. At some point, the hub said, "Is this ever going to end?" That's the thing about dirt roads. They're ever changing. The terrain varied from shelf roads to sandy washes. The trails' names were primarily numbered, and much of the time they were posted, but it was very easy to unintentionally veer off where you wanted to go. In several places it was easy to miss a turn, and we had to backtrack a couple of times. The app was nice to have for that reason. Even though it was hazy out, the scenery here is really something. Much of it is jaw-dropping Sonoran Desert landscape, with saguaros stealing the show.
One more stone. I can stumble onto things, but I could never help you find the way. So if you're ever walking next to me, you can't believe a single word I say. Hey. I a story. Please make it boring. I've never seen myself in me, but I can't find my feet without a candle. So if you notice anything, please pretend it's something I can handle. Take me by the wall. And maybe this time. And I could get some sleep tonight. If it's not too quiet outside, and I could get some sleep tonight. And maybe this time. I could get some sleep tonight. And if it's not too quiet outside, and I could get some sleep tonight. Sleep tonight.
While on this trail, we're looking for Vulture Mine, but it isn't here. Onyx has done this to us before. I'm so confused. Earlier on the trip, we were outside of Parker looking for a ghost town. The icon for the place we were looking for was on the right road, but we had several more miles to go, and it really left us confused. Maybe I'm missing something. As far as I can tell, Vulture Mine isn't here. If we're wrong, let us know in the comments. But we did find the remnants of another mine. According to Onyx, if it's correctly labeled, that is, this is the Big Spar Mine, also known as the Big Star Mine. This is in the Vulture Mining District, so maybe that's why they labeled Vulture Mine on the map. This site was primarily a surface mining operation that extracted fluorite and barite. Mining here occurred off and on between 1939 and 1953. At one time, the mine's operations included a mill equipped with a crusher, elevator, shaking table, and a gas-powered screen to process the extracted materials. About 15 miles from Wickenburg, but only 9 miles from where we were camped on South Vulture Mine Road, was a really nice surprise. It made up for the frustration we felt trying to find Vulture Mine. We love ghost towns. Vulture City was established in the 1860s after the discovery of the Vulture Mine, which began the most productive gold mine in Arizona's history. At its peak, the town had over 5,000 residents. Vulture City is privately owned. As seniors, we pay $12 per person. When you pay, they give you a map with a description of each location to guide you through the town. The self-guided tour begins at the powerhouse. It was built to shelter the generators, machines, and even the men that ran the gold mine. The old garage is a good example of an early wooden shelter used for a repair shop. An old gravity-fed fuel pump and a 1924 National Cash Register can be found here. It's an authentic representation of what you'd find in an early 1900s gas station. The pump house was relocated in 2019. It originally housed the main water pump that was vital in the mining operations and those living here, and now displays a drilling exhibit. I thought the competition rock was pretty interesting. I can just imagine the testosterone needed to do this. There are so many things to look at here, it can actually be a bit overwhelming. The Hubs and I are having a great time. Old towns like these seem to be wrought with hardship. The town built a one-room schoolhouse in 1881. Less than a year after its opening, a diphtheria epidemic took the lives of nearly 20 of the 60 students. So how did Vulture Mine get its name? There's a lot of stories, but the true meaning was lost and nobody really knows. The blacksmith shop, dating back to the 1880s, is one of the oldest structures in Vulture City. It offers live demonstrations providing insight into the craftsmanship of the area. You can also arrange classes to learn the craft yourself. All right, so this is not only the site of Vulture City, it's the mine too. If I had only known. Wells Fargo never actually operated their own stages in the Arizona Territory. Here, the company was basically an express delivery service which contracted out their services. They're also utilizing this cool open-air museum as a venue for ceremonies and even have a few animals. They say that the assay building is in the heart of the town's hauntings and reports of disembodied voices and apparitions. They do have a flashlight ghost tour here. That seems to be the new touristy thing. Everybody likes a good story. Henry Wickenburg's 15 by 20 foot cabin built in 1864 was constructed with stone and adobe. At the front of his cabin stands an ironwood tree said to be the site where 18 men were hanged for their crimes. And of course, no mining town is complete without a doctor's office and a brothel. There are signs hung to show you what the building looked like before they restored them. It really helps you appreciate the restoration that's gone on here. When you hear the gunshots, you know it's time for the show. As people gather, a very talented fellow serenades you. It starts off with a lesson in safety using guns with blanks and what a true gunfight might have looked like in the Old West.
We use blanks, but we are very careful with our guns. Everybody gets their guns inspected. When they come here, they get their belt inspected too if they have dummy.
But the rest of the show is designed for entertainment with good humor. These folks are volunteers and aren't here every day the museum is open. We were lucky enough to catch the show. The Vulture Mine was officially closed in 1942 due to a government order during World War II. The U.S. War Production Board issued an order which shut down all non-essential gold mines, so that the resources like manpower, fuel, and equipment could be redirected to mining materials critical to the war effort, such as gold and iron. Even though the mine was still producing gold, it wasn't considered essential to the war, so operations ceased. Attempts to reopen it afterwards were not economically viable, and it never returned to its formal production levels. Coming here was a great find, and we highly recommend it. Before we headed out of the area, we decided to take a drive to Aguila to check out Eagle Eye Cemetery. It's a small historic cemetery located about 3.5 miles south of US Route 60 on Eagle Eye Road. It's set in a peaceful desert landscape surrounded by nature, and it's been around for quite a while. The cemetery is recognized by Arizona's Historic Preservation Office, which means it's considered an important part of the area's history. Over the years, it's become the final resting place for many local folks, including veterans and longtime community members. The cemetery isn't huge, but it's open to the public and has that quiet, reflective desert vibe. If you're into local history or genealogy, it's definitely worth a visit. All in all, it's a meaningful little spot that honors the lives of people who helped shape the area. We also heard some rumors about a local restaurant in the area. Coyote's Den Cafe is a laid-back, family-run spot right off of Highway 60. It's a local favorite with a chill vibe, friendly staff, and a menu that mixes American diner food with tasty Mexican dishes. Our last day was spent catching up with some friends that ended up in Wickenburg too. We shared our plans on where we're going next as the snowbirding season was coming to a close. Steve and Diana, who share our love for old cemeteries, shared some photos of an old cemetery they found in the area. Verde Flat Cemetery is an old, historic graveyard tucked near the ghost town of Vulture City, Arizona. I don't know how we missed this. This place was the final stop for a lot of folks who lived and worked around the Vulture Mine back in the wild mining days. There aren't a ton of records on who's buried there, but it's clear life was tough and pretty unpredictable in those boomtown years. It too looks like a cool stop if you're into history or just exploring the old gold towns of Arizona. We'll have to find it when we come back to the area. Next time you'll see us, we'll be making our way through a spring snowstorm on our scenic drive back to Colorado. Don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss an episode.
A guy walks into a bar. That made him disqualified from the limbo contest.